Hello everyone, Elohim here. Sorry for the delay and thank you for waiting. I am Elohim Leafar. I come from Amazonas, Venezuela. I am the author of a ton of books. You don't need to ask about that. We are not here for me. First of all, thank you for the Pagan World Congress to organize all of this. Thanks to everybody around there waiting for me. Think I really appreciate it. Well, some technical issues. Um, Usually, all my workshops and classes are based on practical magical stuff. I don't offer too many theoretical classes, but for this time and the times that we are living, I thought it was a better decision. Ground myself with you a little better. We can level up together doing a workshop a bit more theoretical based on covens because after 2020 happened with COVID and so much stuff, we start grounding a lot of terrain in the pagan community, creating covens groups, digital covens, digital stuff. We have so many Facebook groups, we have so many digital covens out there, and many times these situations can lead us to end in a personality cult. And when you finish in one of those, it's very difficult to go out. So I rather to make this version in this topic because in the times that we are living with everything digital, everything online, so many bots online, so many people creating fake profiles on Instagram and Facebook, it's very easy to fall down in what you think is a coven and result just to be a cult. So I have some experience dealing with a bunch of cults in different countries, in different languages. And for that reason, I think maybe I'm not the most, but I think I have some experience that I would love to share with all of you. If during the workshop you have any trouble understanding any word that I say, which can happen with this accent, let me know in the chat so I can get back to you. If you have any question or any progressive, productive comment to do, please keep it in the chat. Please keep the chat positive, progressive, proactive for everybody else. This workshop is called Reclaiming the Coven. Yes, you're gonna see me reading all my notes all the hour. Yeah. Um, Making the workshop. My first coven. My first coven. I get into my first coven when I was in Venezuela. I was 16 years old, and that was my first red flag. I was too young for that. I didn't have the maturity to go into a coven, but I wanted to experience what is being in a coven because I come from a family of Afro-Caribbean practitioners, and we don't have covens in Afro-Caribbean magic. We have in Santeria, Lukumi, Canton Black, we have group, we have casas, but we don't have coven. So I really was idealizing this idea to go into a coven. I had experience of going into two different covens. One of them was very proactive, but was most of the time just celebrating the Sabbaths, which was kind of a strange experience when you're living in the Caribbean, in the middle of the line of the Ecuador. We don't have the seasons, so we really don't have like too many reasons why to make a Sabbath. Like, why would I meet to celebrate the winter solstice when we are literally having roses in the middle of the time? Uh, One of the things that I learned from that Coven was trying to work with my own calendar and try to adapt my own magic, my craft, my practice, my pantheon to whatever the place I am. Because if not, it's a bit superficial the relation that you are keeping in there. So I try to keep it as ground as possible. If I am, for example, living in Africa and we don't have winter, I don't have any reason to celebrate the winter solstice, but probably at other seasons in Africa that I can celebrate with my coven. So that was one of my first red flags. When I was in this coven, I was just trying to copy paste what they were doing in other countries. The reason why they do it is because the two high priestesses that we have in the coven, they come from England. They were doing some studies in the college in Venezuela. They were very good with Spanish. They were Wiccan practitioners. So they just readapt the will in there, but was a really odd situation. The second coven in which I was, at first sight, was a very progressive coven. led by a woman. The idea of this coven is that they just let you be part of the coven while you are younger or under 18. Immediately you are 18, they throw you out of the coven. They don't want you there because they just want young people in there. First sight, it was like, okay, they are just trying to raise young punk community. But when I was outside of the coven after years, I noticed certain patterns that they were more like a cult of personality because they were always like trying to sell you stuff, make you make stuff. They were all the time gaslighting you about who to friend, who to unfriend, who to talk, who don't to talk, which places to avoid. And many times were warnings, but many other times these were not warnings. It was just some kind of echo chamber in which you were frustrated, locked in there, just like all the time. I could have learned from that experience, but I didn't learn too much because years later I made the same mistake to go back inside to another comment that was practically the same situation. Was this is the people that we like, this is the people that we don't like, this is the people that you should read, this is the people that you should avoid, this is the people that I dislike you, so you should dislike it too. These kind of echo chambers that make you feel like in a very unsafe space, because many times a coven can easily finish turning into an echo chamber of the people. When you say create your background choice and your lighting and set design that will be perfect. Thank you, Chris. Um, is this is a great question that many times we have. I should join to a coven or I should create my coven. This is the thing. If you create a coven, you need to be very clear which are your goals with the coven, because many times we idealize a lot of things. We are like, oh, I want to do this because this is how it looks in the films, this is how it looks from the experience of the things that I read in the books, which is pretty cool. But when you are in there, it's like many times you can feel like this is all that we do. You need to have a goal. Historically, covens, and I don't want to make this a racial thing or a political thing because we have a lot of that in social media right now. Covens are being historically these segmented groups of people who feel like are minorities. And I'm not just talking about being black, being brown, being queer, being trans, because I'm a gay, cis, Hispanic, Turkish man. Anyway, you can be a white person and feel like many times you're part of a minority. Maybe you are a white cis woman living in Colorado or North Carolina. I don't know the difference because I don't know the states. But you feel like a stranger on an outsider in your own community. And many times you can feel like a community, like, oh, nobody in my neighborhood think like me. And also, I consider myself a witch. And you want to have like your own group to hang out, to protect yourself, to back each other, to stay together, to stick together. And that's pretty cool when we do it. So you need to consider yourself, you need to think a lot on yourself, like, I want to join a coven for which reason, for what is the real reason why I want to join a coven, or I am prepared to create a coven because if I want to create a coven, I need to have a goal. Which is the goal of my coven? Reading books and sharing books with others, trashing people all day, like some covens do, uh, have some kind of veneration practice to a particular deity, and that's one of the biggest mistakes that people do online. Because many times we see people like, I want to join a coven, but what you're going to do in the coven? Because maybe you identify yourself like a crystal witch. Everything that you do is related with crystals, which is very cool. But all the people around are in a coven that just work with plants. I don't want anything to do with crystals. You're gonna join in there and you're gonna change your background, you're gonna change your perspective, your point of view, your goals about the things that you want to learn just because you want to be in a coven. Because the idea is not either trying to go inside a place and change the place, because when you go to another country or when you go to another house, you respect the rules. So when you go inside of a coven, you need to always remember that they have a framework before I arrive, and they need to respect that framework. If I don't agree totally with that framework, move maybe in another direction, that can happen. So you need to be very clear which are my goals with this coven. So I can find a coven which fulfill my goals, or I should create my own coven. And to create my own coven, I need to have a talk, a honest talk with myself. I had the maturity, the time, the timeline, the order, the organization skills, the viability down to create a comment that is not another echo chamber or an ego chamber where everybody is just agreeing with me, because in that way it's not any growing. You are not growing yourself, you are not adding anything to the formula if everybody in the Coven is just agreeing with you, doing what you do, following your rules, and literally nobody's growing anything in there. It's just agreeing with you all the time. And that's not the idea of a Coven. Covens, I go back to the topic, historically has been this group where minorities join themselves with a purpose, with a goal. We're gonna join together to venerate the goddess in the darkness, on the goods, this very idealized Hollywood idea that is based in history, in which, the patriarchy, they are venerating the male Christian gods, so we go aside in the woods at midnight to venerate these other deities that we can do outside in public. That's a very common idea. That's a very common conception. Can be also a misconception, but when you are in a convention, you need to have a purpose. I'm going to venerate a pantheon in particular. I'm going to venerate a deity in particular. I'm going to venerate these goods in particular. I'm going to create a coven that meet in this public park every month to venerate the spirit of the park. Why not? I want to create a coven, a crystal coven, just to talk about crystals all the time. That's cool. I want to create a coven that is more like a book club. We talk about books, we read books, we share books with others, we meet in libraries and bookstores. That's a cool idea. You continue being a witch, you just change or redirect your goals in one way or another. I want to create a coven to venerate just our ancestors. That's a great idea. You just need to find out other people around in which you can trust, people who respect the privacy, the secrecy of who is part of the coven, and who also share the same goal. Oh, I think that is a good idea because all the covens out there are Wiccan shaped covens venerating the gods and the horned god, and they want to create a coven just to venerate our ancestors. It's not rules on that, because I always say this and people forget it. Covens, witchcraft traditions are all made up by humans. It's not the general rule. Don't exist a structure made in some kind of old stone, ancient stone that say all the covens need to follow. All of this is made up. All of this was made up for somebody, most of the time, a white British person like 50 or 60 or 70 years ago. So we can just adapt these ideas, because at the end of the day, covens have a longer time existing than the books that we read about covens. When you are in a coven, remember you need to have a goal. Which is my goal? Is venerate my group, is create an echo chamber, is instigate knowledge, wisdom, deep work, inner work, spiritual work, veneration of the spirits, or is my goal just to meet, drink wine, collect stuff, and talk about other people? We need to have a goal, and that goal needs to be very clear. Whatever it is, I'm gonna create a coven, or I'm gonna join a coven. Which is my goal with that coven? For example, I feel very comfortable being in covens where are just men. Why? Whatever they are, gay men, straight men, bisexual men, I don't care about that. But I feel comfortable after being in so many covens with women, because I feel like I like to have a space without the toxic masculinity where men can feel comfortable talking about the goddess or about the horned god without this kind of prejudice that we are used to, because we live in a society in which women need to behave in this way and men need to behave in this way. And I had the experience to work with these people from Mexico. In Mexico exists the Semilla groups, the seed group, the seed group, because seed is a translation of semilla, something that you sow to have a plant. Is this very big uh, aggregation of different covens just for male, and don't care if you are gay, if you are straight, you are a trans man. Just if you are men, you are invited to be that, and it's a place where they choose to venerate the god, the male divinity, but toxic masculinity is not allowed. They do a lot of inner work to sit down in there. They cry in there, they talk in there, they talk about everything in their life, the good and the bad, and they take a time just to feel confident of, I can be a man without the social structure of being a man, without drinking the beer and being all drunk, just trashing women. I can just be a man and sit down with other men to read poetry and listen music and venerate the horned God and continue feeling like a man. Like I don't need to solve myself or get hard with myself. Also, are covenants just for women, and those are pretty good because women need to have always a safe space, especially in these times. So when you are looking for a covenant, you need to look for all of these little details. Or if you want to create a covenant, and I'm totally in pro of people creating covenants because I think that's better in that way because you can just find the structure and see what you can do better than actual coins that don't fulfill your goals. And in that way, you can have a safe space for you and other people like you. Our next point here, joining a coven requires experience, creating a coven requires creativity. How do you identify a coven from a cult of personality? I have a long paper that I wrote for the university that I would like to share with you. I don't have the access to do it here, but I can send it to the people behind Pagan World Congress and they can probably send to you via email or something. I create a paper trying to identify the red flags and green flags on covens and personality cults, because these are very important because many times we find all of these covens online and all of them, most of them are echo chambers that we need to avoid. You go into a coven, and the problem with covens that belongs to bigger traditions like Gardnerian tradition, Alexandrian tradition, Dianic tradition, Blue Wiccan tradition. The problem with this coven, not the problem, but the circumstance is this coven follow a structure, a very old structure made in a different time. And many times this structure don't allow us to be ourselves in these modern times. Also, when you belong to a bigger coven, and this coven belongs to a bigger tradition, if this coven is very isolated, like, all the contact that I have with this tradition is the high priest or the high priestess of this person in the coven, and I am not allowed to contact anybody else from the tradition, I don't know how really I am practicing the tradition because maybe, just maybe, could be the possibility that you join to Elohim Coven, and Elohim says to you that Elohim belongs to the tradition of the blue shiny rabbit. And the tradition of the blue shiny rabbit been around for 800 or 900 years, something like that. And when you join to my coven, I'm just going to pass to you the knowledge of this tradition. But if my coven is very isolated in the city and you don't have any contact with anybody else worldwide who belongs to the same tradition, you don't have literally any way to know that the things that I'm teaching you are part of this tradition because I'm isolating you. So this is probably just an echo chamber because I can just say to you, in this very old tradition in which I was initiated, we do things in this way. And to be first degree, you need to be in this way. And to get into second degree, you need to do these things in this another way. And you don't have any possible way to know that I'm saying the truth or I'm lying to you because you are totally isolated in a coven that is just part of a bigger tradition. And that's the problem with bigger traditions, that many times you are like comparing with each other and all of these covens are isolated from each other. So these Gardnerian covens don't talk with other these Gardnerian covens. So we believe that all of them are doing the same, but probably they are not. And many traditions are like that because the covens are isolated. And when a person holds all the power in a coven, a high priest or a high priestess, and it's just one person, because if you have two people or three people leading the coven, two high priestesses, two high priests, one high priest and one high priestess, or two high priestesses and one high priest, when you have more than one person leading the coven, you can assume, they are taking decisions between them. But when you are in a coven or tradition and you just have to respond to one person, that easily can turn into an echo chamber because you don't know how much they can be lying to you or manipulating you or gaslighting you. So we need to be very careful with these kind of things. For example, if you see that they don't let you contact to other people who belongs to the tradition or the coven, if you see that all the information passed through themselves, if you see that they are like excessively isolated, and this is a very important point because when you belong to a coven, normally it's a vote of secrecy. You don't share information with anybody else about who is in the coven, what you do in the coven. But sometimes there's certain information that should be like allowed to share with your family, with your friends, with your partner. I'm going with my coven to this retreat in this place, and they say to you, no, you can't say anything of that to anybody else. So you could be kidnapping me, and nobody will know about that. We need to be very careful about this kind of thing because in the actual society in which we live, all these kind of things can happen and they are very easily to organize, especially with the internet. Give me a second, because I'm human. Oh, I see a comment here. I saw the comments. Comments. Why do we comments? We do comments for many reasons. Maybe I just read this paper about this local deity that was an aborigine or indigenous deity, and nobody else is praising this deity. And they feel interested into connecting this deity. So I should to create a coven, a group to venerate this deity so I can hang out with other group of people who are believers too and try to venerate this deity. That's an option. I can create a coven because I don't want to be more solitary practitioner because I have 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, all my life being a solitary practitioner, and I want to have other perspective here to share with me about how to do things. I can be part of a coven because I want to learn other things. I want to be part of a coven because I want to meet other practitioners and learn other forms of magic. All the options are valid. But again, you need to be very clear in which are your goals. Because, for example, many covens around have a very weakened structure, even if they are not weakened initiate inside, they don't have an initiation or something. So maybe you end in a coven that is literally spending years of your life and you're not feeling comfortable in there. So the best option in those situations is just create your own coven, just read a lot about how to create a group, maybe hang out with other 2 or 3 of your friends so you can have a very shaped idea of what is the kind of coven that we would like to have. Something for which I'm always hands down, and it's the reason why I join too many groups, is because I love social work and activism. Join to covens, traditions, and groups because, oh, this group is so hands down into activism. This group is so hands down into social working. And at the end of the day, they are doing like nothing for the work except meeting and meeting and meeting and meeting. And I'm like, why am I spending my time here? Why am I spending my time, my energy, my money, etc., in a coven that is literally not fulfilling my goals? It's not literally feeling my cup. It's literally not making me feel satisfied. I'm just unsatisfied all the time after every meeting. That can happen, and that happens to me many times when I join to a social group expecting like, oh, we're gonna do some change for the world. We're gonna be more participant in the society, participant with the community. We're gonna give something back to the community. And the Coven is just talking and talking and talking, learning, reading books, and it's like, I'm not really interested in stuff that I can literally do online for myself. If anybody of you watching this is part of a coven or have ideas for a coven, please leave it in the comments. That would be very nice for everybody to read. So when we look for the purpose of a coven, what kind of purpose we are looking for? Can be activism and social working, can be acquire knowledge and experience, can be veneration, church style, like how I like to call it. When you just belong to a coven, like it's traditionally to venerate a deity. But for what reason I'm venerating a deity? I'm just meeting every Saturday to venerate this deity. Hey, I come here knocking your door to remind you that I love you. It is or offering, blah, blah, blah. Goodbye, see you next week. Or I'm doing it for a bigger purpose than me. Because I like to think that the work of the coven should always be bigger than the coven itself. If the purpose of the coven is joining to compare ourselves, I'm sorry, to compare ourselves constantly with other covens, but we are literally not doing anything bigger, is no reason to be there. The reason of the coven, the purpose of the coven, the goal of the coven should be bigger than the coven. We meet every month or every week or bi-monthly. We make the celebration, we make the fasting, we all eat, we all drink, we all venerate. Also, we talk about the changes that we want to do in society, how we want to do these changes, what we can do for our community, how we can protect our community, how we can protect our neighborhood, how we can protect other witches in the community, even if they agree or disagree with us, how we can be in the service of a bigger purpose in the name of my deity. For example, in Venezuela, it is giant community group that have a magazine called The Orishas, and this community group between 2005 and 2009, I think, I will Google later, they have these kind of meetings that they do every week in which all the santeros dress in white with their giant collection of necklaces meet in a plaza. Everybody brings a plate of food and they go to give food to the homeless people around the city. And they do that every freaking Saturday for over 5 years. They just stopped doing it in a certain point because, people get tired after some time. But that was a very exhausting but amazing social work that they do. Like, we know people don't like santeros, people don't like Afro-Caribbean practitioners, people don't like witches or brujas in the city. But anyway, we are proud of what we are and we want to show them that we are better than their perspective. We're going to dress in white, we're going to bring food, and we're going to feed the homeless. And they were doing that for years. Second, because I have a message that I need to reload the page. Or apparently not. Everything is okay. Okay. So I was in Venezuela, in my country in that moment, and watching that literally turn into a core memory for me. That was my core memory. That was like, if I belong to a coven or I belong to a group, I want to do that. I just don't want to meet to drink wine or having empty long chats and trashing other people that I don't really care. Constantly comparing with what other covens are doing. I want to do something for myself or for my community that is actually fulfilling, that is actually moving, that is actually inspiring for others or encouraging for others. That when people see around the witches, they don't say, oh, this is the crazy people who buy expensive crystals and collect books. I want the people, when they see witches, oh, they are witches. They do a lot for the community, not just buying candles. They are also feeding the homeless or homelessness. They are helping other people outside. They are looking, helping the community in some way. They are trying to build something for the people. And I think that's a pretty good goal when you have a coven. Whatever is the goal should be something bigger than the coven itself. Because if the goal of the coven is just meeting and meeting and meeting just to talk about how pretty we are, how cool we are, how our coven is better than other covens, it's not purpose to be, because you can do that for yourself in the mirror every day. You don't need a coven to do that. Next point. The power of the coven is essentially, I named this chapter The Power of the Coven. The power of the coven is we have power in numbers. Covens are important because let you have diversity, perspective, different life experience, more power, and very, very important, I repeat, different perspective and experience in life. Yourself in the world, practicing magic, doing witchcraft, doing your spells and stuff, and having your back, yourself and your pantheon. And that if you're doing a good work, which many times we are not doing, because when we don't have a second opinion, someone who teach us, someone who got start doing things in our own way, thinking, oh, maybe this is a better way. Well, I did it in this way last time, didn't work, so I'm gonna change it in this way. Now I'm gonna do it in this more common way. In the comfort zone, nothing grows. When you have someone next to you telling you how to do things better, that's a better way to approach magic. And we have power in numbers. For yourself, you can build a house. Will take you a longer time, will be so many difficulties. But if you have a whole crowd working with you to build a house, you can do it better, faster, stronger. You have more perspective, you have different angles. When you are tired, somebody can help you. You have someone having your back. And when you have a coven, it's not different. It's not just you doing the magic. You have a group of people helping you to craft the magic, to do the spells, to check with the spell work. We want to buy this book and we don't have the money right now, so someone in the coven can buy the book and we all borrow the same book and we all read the book. We can do bigger things when we are more. Something that I have been researching a lot for this book about covens, like 6 or 7 pages, is why all covens have this rule that just should have 13 members at maximum. And I didn't have literally anything writing down for a real historian or anthropologist qualified on the topic, saying, this is historical. This is more like a Gerald Gardner thing that after certain amount of time writing books, they start saying, all Coven should have 13 members. And 13 is, related with the church, Catholic stuff, the number of the devil, blah, blah, blah. But a Coven could have less members, could have 20 members. It's not a difference on that. Actually, my experience in Venezuela and Brazil, the Covens having like 13 members maximum. Usually you see just like 18 or 19 people in the meeting in the park. Our next point. Yes, I get into this point. Every Coven should always have a purpose bigger than the Coven itself. If not, it's just an echo chamber. So which are the red flags when I join a Coven? I'm going to try to send you this paper in some way about Covens, magic, different good red flags. But what do you think that when you join a Coven? And more importantly, because we don't talk enough about this, which will be the green flags to join a Coven? Because, for example, critical thinking should be a green flag in the Coven, no a red flag. Many times when you join to a Coven, they don't allow thinking. I think that maybe we should not. We don't think here. This is the way how we do it. Well, but in my perspective or experience, maybe we could try not stopping there. We don't try new things. This is the way. We have been doing this for 100 years or 50 years, or founder did it in this way, so we don't change anything. If don't allow critical thinking, that's just an echo chamber, that's just a cult of personality. It's just a group refusing to change. And if you feel that you are in that position, maybe you don't belong to that place, because obviously you have critical thinking skills and you need something bigger, and this box is just too small for you. You need to move out of there because nothing's gonna grow in there. Red flag, all the contrary. Well, it's the same example. I want to do this. No, you can do it. We keep everything organized in the same way because it's how the book says that it is, and they just bring the book to you. And that happens to me, not in one comment, that happens to me in multiple comments and groups where I am like, why we don't allow trans people on this? Why we don't allow Black people on this? Why we don't have a high priestess? Why we don't practice in this different way? If the full moon is happening on Sunday, why we need to celebrate the full moon on Tuesday? Why all of this structure? If we are decolonizing our craft and we are against colonization and all of that, why we continue celebrating Mabon or Mabon, however you pronounce it, that is a made-up season? Why, if you are in a place that don't have winter, your Coven is celebrating winter solstice? Why, if your Coven is a Coven organized just by women and they allow men in the group, why they don't have a man turning into the high priest of the Coven? Why they try to keep him down? If this Coven is just made for male people, why is that? We have a good reason for that. What is that so challenging there? These are the kind of questions that when you go to join a Coven or to create a Coven, you need to think a lot about these questions. My Coven will not allow this. Why? Is because a social group, bigger thing, a bigger perspective, or is just because you think that you don't want that people in there? Like, I don't want people in my Coven having blue eyes. Why? Because not. You have blue eyes, you can't belong to this tradition, you can't belong to this Coven. Why? Because many times, the reason that you find in these groups are like, why you don't allow this? Well, because the Coven was created in this way and we don't allow anything else outside. It's a Coven here in Central New York, a very cool Coven. They don't have an online page. I just met them in this festival a year ago, the Pagan Pride Festival that was happening in Liverpool. And this Coven, I'm just in a festival and I run into this group and all of them have all of these dogs, and I was like, this is pretty cool. This is like the area with dogs in the festival, which is in a bigger place. And they say, no, we are this Coven, blah, blah, blah. They tell me the name and I was like, what? It's a Coven of witches who just want to work with familiar spirits, and all of them have dogs or cats or birds in their house or a snake or something. All of them meet like one time a month or every 2 months, I don't remember, and they bring their pets, their familiars, and they work with them, they do magic with them, they try to create organic homemade food for the pets, and they do everything that they do is with their spirit animal next to them. And the entire coven, the entire closet out of internet tradition is based on that. And I think that's so freaking cool. Why I don't even something like that? I could bring my cats anyway, but that's a pretty cool idea. And when you see this kind of thing, challenging other the things related with coven groups these days, that's we have so much stuff going outside and people taking care of other things. Like we want to create a coven that just meet in public parks every weekend and bring food, bring wine, we eat, we drink, we celebrate the Sabbaths, and we give offerings to the park, and we take care collectively of the birds, the trees, we give them food to the animals, blah blah blah. You see that the purpose of the coven is something bigger, because when you have a coven, it's because you're venerating someone or somebody, a deity, a pantheon, Greek gods, Roman gods, Chinese gods, African gods, whatever you choose. And when you are doing any good thing for the entire community, for the entire society, in the name of that deity or in the name of that pantheon, that's really a stronger purpose than just meeting every month to, oh, we want to meet, we want to venerate the goddess, we do the praying, we do the dancing, we drink wine, everybody goes home. And it's like, oh, but you did something bigger than just allow yourself in the presence of the goddess? No. Your comment is literally less for the community, for the tradition, for the society, because you are not doing anything bigger than the coven itself. We are finishing here. If you have any question, any comment, leave it in here. Second thing, thank you, Pagan World Congress, for allowing this. Again, sorry for the delay, was absolutely my mistake. No was Pagan World Congress, was my mistake with the phone. And I will do everything possible to edit this paper, and I'm gonna send it to the Pagan World Congress, and they should take responsibility to send it to all of you. I don't know how. Anyway, you can find me on social media. If you want this paper, just let me know, because I wrote this pretty cool paper about covens and cults of personality. It's just 6 pages long, and I'm gonna try to make it to you. Anything else? Anything else I'm forgetting? My latest book, self promotion never hurt anybody, right? My latest shadow is a spell book out right now in the links in my bio, in all my social media. It's a typical book for something deeper to read. It's not that. It's a book on spells. It's like that. Um, that's all for now. Where is Mary? Come to save me. Slight loud, but kudos to the producers, because so far this Pagan World Congress is an excellent job presenting this, hands down the best work by far.
You
Just thank you,
so
Mundans.
much, Elohim. We really appreciate you. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And
I
stay
really
tuned.
appreciate you. Thank you for this chance. I really, really appreciate it, because I was literally dying for being here. I know everything that your group does every year, and I was super excited to be here. I really accept this chance. Like, wow, finally this manifests in my life. Thank you. I hope that you continue doing something like so beautiful like this every year. This has been amazing. Again, sorry for the delay. I'm usually the person that you can meet, but I have troubles with my other phone, which is right here, and it's not working today, so I needed to change in the last minute. But thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and stay tuned. We will have more presentations throughout the day. Blessed be.